This is a Squiz podcast. We're your shortcut to being informed.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Wednesday, December 7. In Squiz Kids Today, moon capsule heads for home. New York needs a rat czar. Beware catfish online and channeling our inner goblin. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
The next step in our quest to go back to the moon was completed yesterday as Orion, the spaceship that left Earth 3 weeks ago, completed its last spin around the moon and fired its rockets to return home. All going well, Orion and its crew of a couple of crash test dummies and a stuffed Snoopy toy in a spaceman suit will splash back down on Earth this coming Sunday. It's called a splashdown because the space capsule will land in the ocean and be collected by waiting Navy ships. Isn't it amazing to think that some clever scientists and mathematicians have done the sums and drawn up the maths equations to work out exactly where in the vast stretches of the ocean the capsule will land? It makes my head spin just a little bit. Orion has been circumnavigating the moon, which is a fancy way of saying it's been spinning around in orbit above it for the last 10 days, taking lots of photos and getting as close as 120 kilometres away from the moon's surface. One of the photos that Orion took while it was on the far side of the moon was of the Earth being lit by the sun, and it appears as a crescent, just as we sometimes see the moon when looking up from down here. I've stuck a link to it in today's episode notes. This mission, called Artemis 1, has had no actual astronauts aboard it. The next mission, Artemis 2, planned for 2024, will have astronauts on board and take them on the same spin around the moon. And then, all going well, Artemis 3, a mission planned for 2025, will take astronauts back to land and walk on the surface of the moon. As Buzz Lightyear himself would say, to infinity and beyond.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in New York City, in the United States, where a job ad has just been posted for a rat czar. So, what's a rat czar? It's a person whose job it is to rid the city of rats, or at least try to get them under control. Think of it as the Pied Piper of New York City. Rats are a big problem in New York and have been pretty much since Europeans first settled there. They grow so big that there are stories of rats dragging entire pizzas down New York streets. Ew. So, what sort of qualifications are required to become the chief of the city's rat patrol? According to the job ad, a license to kill, an attitude to match, and an appetite for bloodthirstiness. Only apply if you're not squeamish about blood or rats, which totally counts me out. Oh, there's the classroom companion Clarion, reminding us that today's Squiz Kids For Schools worksheets are tied to this news story in the podcast. Practice your writing skills today by imagining you're a rat. And a reminder for any teachers out there looking for an end-of-term activity, you can sign up for a free trial of our Squiz Kids For Schools resources at squizkids.com.au, which will see you through to the end of the year.
Pop Culture Corner.
My kids take great delight in reminding me how uncool I am on a pretty much daily basis. So it is with some nervousness that I report the Oxford Dictionary has decided that the word of 2022 is goblin mode. So I know that's technically 2 words, but who am I to argue with Oxford? So what exactly does it mean? The people at Oxford University who produced the Oxford English Dictionary report that it was a term that became very popular during COVID to describe being lazy and messy and generally slothing about in your bedroom and not cleaning up after yourself and not wanting to go outside and see other people. I'll be sure to explain it to my teenagers tonight over dinner, supposing, of course, I can get them out of their messy bedrooms.
Newshounds.
Each Wednesday, Squizzy the Newshound, everyone's favourite detective dog, pops his snout into Squiz Kids HQ to let us know what fishy goings-on he's discovered this week on the internet. And this week, it's all about catfishing. After a warning was issued in the United States to all users of the internet and social media to beware people online pretending to be someone they're not. A catfish is the name given to someone who uses fake photos and a fake name to create a fake online profile. Often, a catfish will use that fake profile to become friends with someone online and maybe trick them into doing something or sharing something that is then used against them. It's not very nice. But that's the thing about the internet. No matter what platform we are on online, we always need to do as Squizzy suggests and stop, think, and check before believing everything we see, read, or hear on the internet. And that's especially important when it comes to making contact with people online. As a general rule, you should never be in contact with people online that you don't know, or who your parents don't know. And if ever a stranger wants to make friends with you online, don't accept them, and certainly don't share anything with them. And don't forget, if you haven't already checked it out, Squiz Kids' free media literacy program for primary school kids, Newshounds, is the perfect way to teach kids about misinformation and the dangers of believing everything they see, read, or hear online. If you're a teacher and want to incorporate it into your lesson planning for next year, sign up for a free account at squizkids.com.au and have a poke around.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What's the name of the space capsule that's expected to splash down to Earth this weekend? Yeah, that's right, it's called Orion. Question number 2. What animals is New York overrun by and for which they need a so-called czar to help eradicate? Yeah, that's right, I'm talking about rats. Question number 3. What is the Oxford word of 2022? Yeah, that's right, it's goblin mode. 2 words technically, but hey, what do I know?
Shout-outs.
It's December 7. Today is National Letter Writing Day in the United States, where it's also National Fairy Floss Day. And I think I know which one you lot would prefer to celebrate. It's also a special day for these Squiz kids celebrating a birthday today. Marcus from Barara Heights, Parmis from Woodcroft, Helena from Mayfield, William from Canberra, and Bear from Perth. And belated birthday shout-outs go to Kiralee from Cremorne, Kiara from Forest Lake, Seven Eye from Bray Park, Talara from Ashmont, Ethan from Cherrybrook, Anastasia from Hunters Hill, Liam from Hammond Park, Violet from Wagga Wagga, and Ty from Casino. And classroom shout-outs go to Class 3FA and Mr. Farris at Christ Church Grammar School in Perth, Class 5B and Miss Hesketh at Middle Harbour Public School, Year 5 at St Joseph's Primary School in Wagga Wagga, Class 5B and Miss Beth at Holsworthy Public School, Class 4-5S with Miss Smith at Hayes Park Public School in Kanahuka, Class B4 and Miss Emily D at Sacred Heart Middle School in Adelaide, Room 10 and Mrs. Razas at Aurelia Primary in Kwinana, and finally to Class 3P and Mr. Pillage at Penshurst West Public School. And a quick note on classroom shoutouts. We've only got 7 podcasts left in the year and over 120 classroom shoutouts and counting in the Squiz Kids mailbox queue. We're going to do our very best to get through as many as possible before the podcast wraps on December 16, but if we don't, please accept our apologies. And please get back in touch with us when the school term resumes next year. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.